Welcome back, everyone. In one of the previous videos, it was titled Jesus Was Tired. And we kind of was looking at the story of the woman at the well in John 4. And we talked about the fact that Jesus really was tired. He had been on a long journey. They traveled on foot back then. They hadn't had anything to eat, nothing to drink. He was thirsty. Jesus had a need. I know sometimes that is hard for us to think of, right? But this was Jesus in human form, fulfilling what his father had sent him to do. And he encounters, of course, this woman at the well. It's a story we know well. And she should not have even been in his company based on the laws and the customs of the day. And she ministered to him. Most people don't realize that she ministered to him. And then Jesus ministered to her. It's what I call the great exchange, because the theme that surrounds this chapter, especially, is water. And we need water for weariness. Jesus was tired. And when Jesus was tired, he asked for water. And so this exchange, this great exchange, took place in this theme around this need. Weariness was involved, and this encounter would convert this woman into the first evangelist for Jesus. And so that really got me thinking with this whole idea of Jesus having a need and seeking water. What is your need today? What has got you feeling this heaviness? We talked about that too. A lot of people were just feeling heaviness. They came into this year, January 1, ready to run. And then 30 days later, they're just feeling heaviness. They're ready to quit. What's caused this weariness that you're feeling? And what are you seeking rest from? Maybe all of this year, 2025 so far, you've just been putting out fires. You just got started January 1, you came in ready to go, but you ended up being kind of like the fireman. You've just been running around putting out fires since this year began. But there's still something you need quenched. Have you sought the great exchange? Have you felt attacked by heaviness? Heaviness is a spirit. It's a spirit of heaviness, and it brings kind of like burdens and darkness and fogginess. Have you ever felt that? Fear, anxiety, worry. It can manifest in so many ways, but it's a spirit of heaviness. And if it's not resisted and rebuked, it will lead to weariness. You get weary, worn down, just like you're done. And you get that feeling that you're done and you can't keep going. And when the spirit of heaviness attacks, it attacks the mind. Most people don't think about that. It's the mind, the anxiety, the worry, the things. It comes after the mind, and praise is the antidote that brings relief. The mantle of praise. Most people, because we don't know what the garments of the day look like, the mantle covered the head and down. So the mantle of praise is our shield. That's the shield against the spirit of heaviness. We see that in Isaiah 61:3. And of course, weariness. This is Jesus. When Jesus said he was tired, the Bible tells us why he was tired. It was a physical tiredness. He was sitting down, they'd be on their foot, they've been going, but he was only starting his mission at the time. Imagine that. And weariness can leave us kind of like heartsick, depressed, exhausted, alienated. A lot of these things, and weariness can manifest in different ways, but weariness can also leave us disconnected from love, faith, and hope. Like Satan will alienate us so that we can start feeling disconnected from the love of God, the faith, and the hope that comes from him and other believers. Satan loves nothing better. Nothing better than to drive us from the love of God. He always wants us to feel like God is holding something from us, or we're not deserving of it, you know, kind of like he did with Adam and Eve. Like, you know, he whispers these things that leaves them feeling a certain way. And when you think about it, it's like a spirit of heaviness, because if he can whisper something, then you start feeling like you're missing something. You start being afraid. It's kind of like with Eve. Oh my God, what if God's withholding something from me? So that's a heaviness. You know, the what if, when you get into that what if mode, that's a heaviness, because you're not thinking of what if good. Usually you're thinking what if bad, and the heaviness comes on. And then if that's not rebuked and resisted, weariness, it becomes weariness. And that it goes to the heart and the soul. Weariness goes to the heart and soul. It weighs you down with this lovelessness and powerlessness and mindlessness. You feel like you're just a nothing. And these are the weights that pull us away from what the Holy Spirit gives us: the love, the power, and the mindfulness that comes when we're operating in the Spirit of God. The state of weariness is not what God desires for us. You know, Isaiah 55:1 tells us to come to the waters. Come to the waters. And of course, Matthew 11:28, Jesus says, come to me. There's this call to come to him. This is where the exchange takes place. This is where the great exchange takes place. This is where the water is given in exchange for the weariness. Back in Isaiah 55 again, it says, what? His word, which goes from his word, will not return void, right? It will do what he wants. It will accomplish what he has said it to do, right? Because you will go forth with what? Joy, and be led in peace. See, this state of weariness is not God's desire for you, for me, for anyone. So choose today to shield yourself from the spirit of heaviness and surrender all weariness to Jesus. Make the great exchange and be revived for your journey. That's what Jesus had to do. He is the living water, and he wants to give you that living water in exchange for that weariness. So shalom, shalom. God bless you.